Good morning, dear Stitchers. It's Judy with JBW Designs, and I want to welcome you back to my floss tube video. I will tell you that my recordings yesterday and perhaps today have been fraught with frustration because I recorded twice yesterday and neither one worked. So since I'm not very tech savvy, I tried to figure out, and it took me practically all afternoon, what went wrong. So I'm asking you today, keep your fingers crossed that this works, because the idea of recording a fourth time is not a pleasant one, believe me. So thank you. Thank you for coming back. I am Judy Whitman with JBW Designs, and I am so grateful to all of you for watching my videos, for subscribing, and especially for making comments, for telling me things that you have questions about or things that you're interested in or giving me ideas. I just welcome them all. I'm so grateful. So let's see. First of all, why have I been gone for so long? Well, I just kind of wondered, like, what happened to October? We went on a trip, and I realize, and you probably know this too, that before you leave, there's lots to do to get ready. We were only gone for a week, and then when I got back, there was lots to do to catch up with on orders, etc. So we went to Virginia to visit our granddaughter Ashton, who just got her first job at UVA in Charlottesville. And we absolutely loved Virginia. For those of you who live there, I understand why you love it. It's absolutely beautiful. So we did a lot of fun things. We went to Monticello and Montpelier, and we took a drive along the Skyline Drive. And then the last morning that we were there, I visited a shop called the Cross Stitch Station, which is owned by Terry in Waynesboro. And it was a wonderful visit. I was only there for the morning. I forgot to take any pictures of the shop, of Terry, of all the people that stopped in to say hello and visited with me. So I just want to thank you if you were one of those who was there that day. And if you took a picture, send it to me. I would greatly appreciate it. So the first topic that I want to address today is the horrific damage that has been done to several parts of our country with two hurricanes. And I just ache for the people that have gone through such trauma and such loss. But I have found out about two people who are doing something to make a difference. And so I wanted to tell you about both of them. You probably know about them, but it doesn't hurt to mention it again because it's such a great, worthwhile effort. So first of all, Annie with a Proper Stitcher, who you probably watch, has designed an ornament, and it is just darling. It's called Go Tell It on the Mountain. It is just perfect. And she did that not only because she was worried, of course, about all the victims, but actually her sister-in-law lived in Black Mountain, North Carolina, and was actually stranded on the mountain, I believe, for several days without any communication. And they were so worried. I can't imagine. So she's designed this ornament, and she's selling it through a shop in Tennessee called Cross Stitch and Crafts. And I'm going to feature them as my shop of the day. And I'll also put in my notes below how to reach them, because she's donating all of the proceeds from the sale of her ornament to the victims of the hurricane in North Carolina. And then there's another person doing it too with the Nebby needle, and she's designed an ornament also. So I'm going to encourage you to contact Cross Stitch and Crafts. I'll give you their phone number, their email. They'll kit up the ornament for you, ornaments if you'd like that. So that's one way we can make a difference. And then the second way that I wanted to tell you about, and you, as I said before, you may know about this, you may not, but there is so I've just started watching a new video for me called Hobbies of Holly. And Holly is just delightful. She lives in Ohio. It turns out I met her at a retreat, and she is doing something that is just great. So she was at a retreat in, let's see, I think about the time I was in Virginia at Dying to Stitch. And while she was there, one of the attending women, Jenny, found out the most horrific news. She and her husband lost their house to a fire. And so Holly has organized, and I'm not sure, there might be others too. I think there are who are working on this also. But she's asking all of us if we could make a small ornament, and she's going to send them all to Holly. I'm sorry, Holly is going to send them all to Jenny, and hopefully Jenny and her husband will have found a place to live, and this is to give her hope for the future and send her something that shows that we're all thinking about her. And what better way for stitchers to do that? So I sent off a package of 5 ornaments. Over the course of my designing career, I've created hundreds of ornaments, and I thought, oh, I can share some of these with Jenny. So I'll put Holly's information below, and again, you can email her and find out her address, and I think she wants to do it by the end of November, early December. So aren't those great ideas? Now, if you have ideas or know of other people that are doing something similar in our community, please let me know, because I'd like to pass on that word. So let's see, what do I want to tell you next? Since I've done this so often, I should know it by heart. So the first thing I'm going to do is share some designs with you that have been sent to me, that of my pictures of my designs that have been finished in such a unique way. And I love sharing those, and I hope you like seeing them, and it gives you some inspiration for finishing. So the first one I'm going to show you was done by Susan, and it is stitched on a 28 count fabric over 1. It is the stitching in the round design. She bought the wooden backing ornament at Hobby Lobby, and they have them in packages, and she stained it brown. I've used them too and just spray painted them. And then she stitched this. I love what she did for the trims. So she mounted it on the board. She surrounded it with blue buttons that she had collected from Dollar Tree, she said. And then she put on a little scissor charm and a needle charm. And those, she said, she got in a package at Joann Fabrics. So we always have to keep our eye out for unique things that we can add to our finishing. So, whoops, that's the back. This is what stitching in the round looks like, and we've seen many variations of this, but it's always fun to see something so clever. So the next one I want to share with you was done by Nina, and this is Halloween in the round. And if you study her finish, she has mounted it in a little metal tin, and it looks wonderful. I love how it turned out. So thank you, Nina, for sending that. And then we have another finish of Halloween in the round. And this was done by Susan also. And this I thought was such a great idea. So she found a pumpkin shape at the Dollar Tree, and I've seen them at Target. It might be a little late because the fall items are probably getting short, but I've seen them at Hobby Lobby too. So what she did is, that was so unique, is she covered that pumpkin shape with scrapbook paper, and the scrapbook paper has little candy corns on it. And then she used an orange rickrack to outline the design, and I just think it turned out beautifully. So that's another idea to put away for yourself. And then another viewer, this was Faye. She did the French country pumpkin. And you have to study this very closely, study the edges of it, because she worked this on an 18 count Aida. She found a pumpkin cookie cutter shape, so you can see that metal outline around the edges, and she mounted this in the cookie cutter, and then she added this gorgeous orange and black trim and the little leaf and the ribbons at the top. So that is French Country Pumpkin, and this is what that booklet looks like. The next design I want to show you, so I have several actually to show you by Karen. So I met her again actually at Galleria a few months ago, and she brought in some of the models that she's stitched and finished, and she let me take photos of them, and I showed them in the last video. Well, now she's sent me more photos, so I want to share those with you. And she's is not doing finishing for others, but she just does a beautiful job. Actually, I'm going to send her some things next week. So Karen did the French Country Squirrel, and I'll show you that book in a little while. I've got a pile to show you. And she used a variegated floss and put it in a little frame. So cute. She also did, this was actually a kit, but I'm going to show you what the designs came from. So this was from the Chintz alphabet, and she finished it as a little pillow with pink rickrack. She did a little scissor fob up here at the top, and this actually, let me open it for you, comes from a booklet called the Chintz alphabet, and this is what that design looks like. And actually it's based on some china that I own that is called Chintzware. And so I added, as usual, lots of different fonts in the alphabet and just pretty little flower ring motifs here. So that was Chintz alphabet. Then Karen also did, let me show you this one. This is Fall in the Round. And again, she found the little acorn at Dollar Tree. She likes to use variegated floss, and I love what she does because then she takes the colors that were in the variegation and she uses them in the cording around the edges. She also did Spring in the Round, which is part, is that up? Yeah, first I thought it was upside down. Which I often do. So what she did with this one, I'm guessing that she found the plaque with the beautiful flowers at Hobby Lobby. And this is part of a series. There's spring, fall, winter, what am I forgetting? Summer in the round. And so she picked out the colors from the surrounding flowers, and she used a variegated floss for her cording. A variegated floss for her stitching, and then use several colors for her cording. So this is what Spring in the Round looks like. I bought another little piece at Hobby Lobby. You just keep your eyes out for things that look like possibilities for finishing. So the last two things that Karen sent to me, and I love this idea. I'm sure you've seen it before. So this is a milk glass, I believe it's like a pedestal, and it has holes all the way around the perimeter. So I believe it stands like 4 or 5 inches high. And so she put rabbits in the round in the center, and then she uses it to store all of her scissors. Doesn't that look cute? So this is what rabbits in the round looks like. And we've seen many, again, versions of that. And then the last idea that Karen sent to me is a glue that she uses that she buys at Hobby Lobby that I'm not familiar with, and it's called Fabrifix. And I'm going there today actually to have something framed, so I'm going to have to pick up a bottle of it because I thought, well, that's a good thing to know. I always like hearing from finishers and getting ideas of what we can use. So the next segment of my video is going to be on some of the fall designs that I have done over the years. And I will admit, it's a little late, I know, because we're already at the end of October, but November is still, I guess, considered fall. But I didn't want to start Christmas quite yet, so I thought, okay, I'm going to share some Halloween and fall designs today. And sometimes we see things, we don't have time to do them, but we know that, we might want to pick up that pattern and put it in our stash for later. So I have a few to share with you, and some are older than others, but that's all right. This one was called Alphabet Pumpkin, and it was stitched on a 28 count fabric over 2, and of course you could use a 14 count Aida. And another design that I did is a French Country Turkey, and that too was stitched on a 28 over 2. I also did the French Hen, which when I was looking for my fall patterns looked very fallish to me, but I also stitched this, you can see on the back, in red and green because it could look very Christmassy. But I've always loved that design. You know, it reminds me of the little baskets with the little hen sitting on top. This is French Country Owl, and this was stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen light sand, and I always list the DMC colors. This is called French Country Scaredy Cats, and I will tell you, and you'll know this because you know me, I'm not a fan of scary Halloween things. So I was trying to describe what my Halloween things look like, and I'll have to say they're just sweet rather than scary. So Halloween in the Round has been stitched in many, many fashions. I've seen it stitched in all black with just, or all orange with just one black cat. This one was stitched over 2 on a 28 count ivory linen, and then on the back you can see I also stitched it over 1 in all black, and it was just made into a darling little hanger. Another design that I have that falls into the fall category is French Country Witch, and again she's I'd say rather mild-mannered, not scary. I'm going to show you 2 models of this. So I stitched one model over 2, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, and it was finished into a pillow. And then the second model that I stitched was over 1, and I have a number of finishers that do beautiful work, and I love what she did. She padded it and mounted it and put cording around the edge, and then rickrack around the perimeter. So let me tell you about the fabric. So the over 2 was stitched on a 28 Cashel linen in antique ivory, and then the over 1 was probably stitched on a cream 28 count linen. So those are the details on that one. Here is French Country Ghost, and I love what the finisher did, and I often tell my viewers, look at the finishing on the front of the cover and use that for inspiration, because it wouldn't be that hard to do this method with many designs. So basically what she's done is she's added a piece of fabric along 2 sides and then used a little rickrack and ribbon trim and a button, and it's a simple finish, but it's so effective. And to me, the finishing is the key to making something that is simple look really special. Here's another design that falls into that category. This is French Country Crow, and again she just made it into a simple pillow. She used rickrack with ribbon down the center and a few tiny buttons. Very, very effective. And then the last one that I want to show you is called Owls in the Round. And I finished this, and this was a petal that I think is in the food section of Hobby Lobby, and it's just like a cutting board, a small cutting board. And I mounted it on the cutting board. First I sprayed it because it's a natural color. Spray painted it orange, and then I finished it as a round with cording around the edge and just a little bow at the top. This is the over 1 model, and it was stitched on a 28 count linen, but I also did this design over 2. Incidentally, many of my models I do not have at the moment. I've done 2 trunk shows this month. One is was in New England for Stitch New England, and that box of models is coming back next week, which is great because I have 2 more trunk shows to stitch up, not to mail out. And then the other trunk show is right now in Utah at the Snug Harbor Retreat with Deb and her daughter Kef. So I was so glad that they asked me to do that. So the models that I have to show you today are limited, as I say, because most of my models are out and about. I have a couple of products that I want to tell you about, and this came about in the best way. So I had a viewer named Michelle, who ironically lives in Michigan. She's only a couple hours away. And after I showed a design, probably a month or so, 2 months ago, I showed my French country Santa. And I mentioned that it was mounted on a red hornbook, and the company that used to make this hornbook is no longer in business. So she wrote to me and said, my husband might be able to make those for you, which was wonderful. I didn't think I'd ever have a source again. And I showed you once before what they look like. He does beautiful work. Craig is his name. And he not only cuts them, he paints them for me. They're painted beautifully on both sides. And these little hornbooks could be used with other designs. I have several, I'm going to show you in a minute, Christmas tag designs that would fit on the hornbook. You just put a ribbon in the top to hang it as an ornament. All of my sled designs would fit on this little paddle. So if you're interested, I have 4 other products that he's made for me. So if any of these are something you would like to purchase, just email me and I can tell you the price, and then you can decide if you want to order one. So, and the same is true with the next 4 products that I'm going to show you. So Michelle wrote to me after the first one, and she said, are there any others that you'd like me to do, or him to do? One quick second here. I think I'm talking very rapidly. So I said, you know, I used to order products from the Bee Company in France, and the owner Delphine has beautiful products. I would order them again, but it is taking months and months and months. And I think some of it is the communication problems, but I ordered something last spring and never received anything. So what Craig has done is he's done an adaptation of the designs that Bee Company did. So the first thing he did for me was a wooden round with the scallops on it. And you can see it's beautifully painted. I even picture, let's see, do I have that book out here? I had it before. I don't see it right now. Christmas in the Round could be, any of my round designs could be mounted on this. And then what I picture is on the back of it, you could just write a little message and the date of when you stitch the design. So that's one of the products that he has. And again, you can, or he has made for me. And the beauty of it is, because they live so close, when I write to them, I have them within weeks, which is great. So if I run out, I know I have another source. So this is the 3 of the other things he's done. He did a little wooden cottage house shape for me, because I have 2 designs that really fit beautifully onto that shape. One booklet is called Petite Christmas Cottages, and maybe in some of the next videos that I do, I'll show you some of these Christmas models in person, because they're really sweet. And these were stitched over 2 on a 32 count linen. So there are 3 little designs in that booklet. And then I also did a set of petite cottages, and these also were stitched over 2 on a 32 count linen. So those designs would work beautifully on the house shape. And then I have 2 more shapes to show you. They are what I consider, they look like little Christmas tags to me. So again, they're beautifully cut out and painted. And I'm going to show you the books. I have 3 books that could go with these designs. And I have the larger tag, which is for the over 2 stitching, and then I have a small tag, which is for the over 1. So, oh, I just discovered, here's the Christmas in the Round book. It was in my pile. Not all is lost, right? So that would work beautifully on the round design. So here are the designs that fit on the tags. This is French Christmas Tags 2, and there is a dove and a little cardinal, and those are easy to stitch. Obviously, they're over 2 on that. And then I've worked them actually over 2 and over 1, all of these designs. And then this is French Christmas tags, which consists of 3 designs: a house, the word love, and a front door. So that too could be used with these tags. So if you're interested, as I say, just write to me and we'll figure out the next steps. So I'm going to finish now my fall, showing you fall models, because I have just a few that are still here. So the first one I want to show you is Halloween in the Round. And again, this was just a wooden piece that I found at Hobby Lobby probably several years ago. Worked over 2. Let's see if I can tell you the fabric. It was actually worked on a 32 count Weeks Dye Works fabric with the color Angel Hair. And I just finished it with twisted cording, painted this, obviously, added a bow to the top. What I like about this, it can sit on a table, so you don't need to hang it or frame it. And then I also stitched that same design over 1, and again it was mounted on a wooden pumpkin that you can see you can put on a table, and painted. I think this actually might have been painted this color when I bought it, and so I just had to finish it as a round with cording and ribbon, and that was stitched probably on a 28 count linen. Trying to lay these down over here. All right, so I have 3 or 4 more designs to share with you that fall into the fall category. And this is an older design that was out for quite a while, but it's still in print. So this is called Alphabet Owl, and it was stitched actually on a polka dot fabric that was made by Fabric Flair. Let me get that real quickly because I forgot. To take my phone off the hook. Sorry about that. I usually have to try to remember, all right, what do I need to do to keep this quiet? So this design, as I mentioned, I'm not sure they make this fabric anymore, but you could use any kind of a beige or tan linen for it. I love the finish of it. My finisher did it with the pom-pom trim, and then we added little gold charms at the bottom, and she added a bow at the top. So this one comes from Alphabet Owls, and that was a 32 count fabric over 2 threads. And then I also stitched the same design over 1, probably on 28, and again there are little charms added at the bottom and twisted cording for the edge. So that's kind of a sweet little fall design. And then I have the model for French Country Black Cat. And again, I love the finishing on this. She used just a black fabric on 2 edges with ribbon, a little button, and black and white twisted cording. So let me show you what that model looks like. Isn't that just adorable? You could eliminate the words cat in French and always put the name of your cat down here and change the colors, of course. So what? 2 more here. Okay. I have to keep thinking about what were my plans. I've done this so often. It should roll off my tongue, right? So this is a French Country Squirrel, and he was worked, you saw another one that Karen did. This model was worked over 1 and framed. And as you know, the French Country designs are always made up of all the motifs that fall into that category. And so this is what the booklet looks like. And the model that I worked over 2 was stitched on a 32 count cream brulee linen from R&R, and the model over 1 was stitched on a 28 count. It looks like an antique ivory. It has a pale yellow cast to it. And then I have 1 more fall design to share with you. Okay, this is called Fall in the Round. And this one, I don't have the model over 2 right now. The model on the cover that I'm showing you was stitched over 2 on a 32 count Belfast, and the color of the linen was fairy dust. and then I worked it over 1 on a 28 count, and I found this frame at Michael's, and they have some darling frames there. I've taken some of my needlework to be framed there usually, but they have some cute little frames that you could adapt for your needlework. So, and it's real easy to mount because you can see what the back is like. So those are my fall designs. Now let me move on and talk about some updates here. I am going to be teaching a finishing class in the area at my local shop, which is Stitching Bits and Bobs in Plainwell, Michigan. And I'm going to put their their contact information below. It's next Friday. It's in the afternoon from 1:30 to 3:30. And there's also another teacher, Robin, who is teaching that morning. So if that's something you're interested in coming to, and you have time and you're in the area, I'd love to see you at that class. I'm going to be concentrating on just finishing Christmas ornaments, but giving ideas for some other finishing also. So as I said, I'll put the contact information for Stitching Bits and Bobs below, and if you're interested, call Bobby to tell her that you'd like to take the class. Let's see, I've also been working on we've been very busy with the yard. I'm sure you are too. We have to cut down all the flower beds and put porch furniture away, etc. So that's been keeping us very busy. I want to tell you about, first of all, I mentioned this earlier, I'm a little out of sequence here. This is my shop of the week that I mentioned earlier. So it's Cross Stitch and Crafts. Her address is 240 East Main, Suite 200, Johnson City, Tennessee. The owner is Sandra. Her email is crossstitchcrafts@aol.com. And I'll just give you a little hint on her email. I tried to email her, and I've realized that there are actually 3 S's in her email. So cross is a complete word, and stitch is a complete word. And then here's her phone number in case you want to contact her about either purchasing. There are PDF files and there are paper copies of the ornament if that's something that you'd like to support. So I really feel I'm so proud of Annie for starting this. I just think it's wonderful. So the other thing that we did a couple weeks ago is we went to see we always go to watch our grandchildren play volleyball. And so our grandson and his wife brought our great-granddaughter. And her name is Nebbia. They call her Vea. And she's 10 months old. And you can see her dad is holding her up so she can watch. She was quite enchanted with the whole thing. Of course, there's lots of action. The cutest thing is that she claps. And she's very fair-minded. She claps for every team. She just loves clapping. So I thought that was so sweet. She's such a sweet little baby. So I want to award prizes in my video today. I always choose 3 names from my last video. And I do a random number generator. And rather than showing you the prizes, I just thought of one more thing I have to show you. I just say, choose something I've shared with you today, and I will mail it to you. So I choose 3 winners each video, and my winners this time are Carol R., DC 5600, Pat Quilt B77. And if you'll just email me, judy@jbwdesigns.com, I'll get your address. You do have to be over 18. You have to be a subscriber, and I am happy to share some gifts with all of you. So the thing that I forgot to mention, I have one more product to show you, is that when I was at Galleria a few weeks ago, I participated in something called Round Robins. And you design something small that you can teach in 15 minutes. So this is the little piece I designed. And the participants got a kit. And I have 7 extra kits of this design. And in the kit is the fabric for the finishing, some comic board, the linen, the floss for the cording and the pretty little ribbons and the pin and finishing instructions. So I think I call this miniature sampler. I stitched it over 2. This is on 36 count, I believe. And then I stitched it over 1 on a 25 count linen. So there is linen in the kit if the 36 is in the kit. So this is how it was packaged. Whoops. You can see the little seal on the back to give you a picture of what it looks like. And the chart is in there, of course. What do I need to tell you about what we're doing this weekend? Quick update. So we have 2 October birthdays. Our daughter Chris's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Chris. I know you watch the videos. And then our grandson Tristan had a birthday a couple weeks ago. So we're hoping to meet Tristan and our son and his family this weekend to celebrate Tristan's birthday. And we're going to meet Chris and Liam, her son, and our son-in-law Craig for dinner one night. So we're all looking forward to those celebrations. So Chris sent me a wonderful quotation, and that's how I want to end the video today. This appeared in an article on a site called Good Stuff. And Good Stuff is just what it says. It's positive news. I think we need that today in our world. And this is what was in the article, and it applied to you and I. Fellow crafters, it's go time. If you like making things to give as gifts, we are now in the busiest time of the year. In some groups, getting a handmade gift indicates that you are stitch worthy. And that definitely applies to all of you, which means that someone cares about you so much that they have spent hours making something just for you. One friend states that the best part about such a gift is knowing that she was being thought of day after day. And we know how long it takes to create our gifts. So if you ever find yourself stitch worthy, just know that you're really, really loved. And I feel that way about all of my viewers. I'm so appreciative for all of you. So thank you so much. I hope to be back not in such a long span as before, but in just a few weeks. So have a great weekend, and thank you so much again. Bye.